सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sairam everyone. I would like to just summarize what we have studied so far in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. I think it's a month, so just so that some refresher would be good, a review. And the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is considered a full summary of the Bhagavad Gita itself. Swami says every other chapter in the Bhagavad Gita is a commentary on topics covered in chapter 2. So if anyone studies the second chapter end to end, that itself can be considered a study of Bhagavad Gita. So far we have looked at a few verses, almost more than half the verses in the Bhagavad Gita. There are about 70 odd verses in Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We have covered about 41 so far. In these 41 verses, actually, Sri Krishna starts only from the 11th verse onwards. Before that, it was Arjuna who was speaking. And the real Bhagavad Gita starts there, Swami says. And in the first few verses, he is removing the delusion of Arjuna. Arjuna did not know who he is. He was identifying with his body. He clears that. Then he clears his confusion about the role of a Kshatriya. That also is covered. So Swami is talking about Atman, Anatman and things like that. And that falls under the topic called Sankhya Yoga. So up to the 39th verse, Sri Krishna is discoursing on the Sankhya Yoga. This world, what are the things which are Anatman and what is Atman, what is the distinction and so on. Then he segues into what he calls Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is what we are going to be looking at in the next few verses, but there were some introductory verses on Buddhi Yoga, a couple of them. We are just starting out. So Sri Krishna is going to talk about what is this Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is nothing but the mind following the Buddhi. Without that process, we will not get anywhere in spirituality. So it's a very important topic. So we will we are going to look at 3 verses. It talks about sadhakas who are engaged in very good activities. But though they are engaged in sadhana activities, they fall under the category of sakama. That means having desires. So Sri Krishna is going to talk about what's the issue with that kind of a sadhana. Okay, so we will start with the 42nd verse in chapter 2. Sai. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantyavipaschitah vedavadarata partha nanyadastiti vadinah. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantyavipaschitah vedavadarata partha nanyadastiti vadinah. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantyavipaschitah vedavadarataha partha nanyadastiti vadinah. I will just look at a couple of points where we have to pay attention to the pronunciation, which is slightly different than most languages. So yam imam, everything is simple. Pushpitam, the word pushpitam, the sh is a cerebral sh. So the tip of the tongue should point upwards. Pushpitam vacham. Pravadantyavipaschitah, no aspirated consonant, so it should be reasonably simple. Vedavadarata, same. Partha. In this, the tha is aspirated because it's the second letter in the third class of consonants, tha varga. So it has to be aspirated. Partha. The rest of the letters are all unaspirated, so it should be nanyadastiti vadina. We look at sandhi splits so that individual words we can look at, so that when we go into looking at the meanings, it will be easier to understand. Yam, imam, joining together to make yam imam. The sandhi, plus e, it's a simple sandhi, it's a consonant with vowel, and e, it's become me, so yam imam. Pushpitam, it's a single word. Vacham stands alone. Pravadanti and avipaschitaha, there's a sandhi, there are two words. In ti and so ti and a becomes tia. Ti and a becomes tia, so that's how you get pravadantya vipaschitaha. Pravadantya vipaschitaha. So that's one sandhi. So the next line we look at Vedavatarata, no change. Partha, no change. Na anyat asti iti. There are four words. They are all put together. So there are three sandhis. Na anyat becomes nanyat. Na plus a becomes na, a longer na. So nanyat. It plus a becomes the, because in this sandhi, the it, the the becomes a the. The first letter, there are four letters in the third class of consonants. The first one becomes the third one. It's a very common transformation of the first letter in each class of consonants. So anyat becomes anyad, and id plus a becomes the. So it becomes anyadasti, nanyadasti. Then e asti plus iti. E plus e becomes a longer e, so it becomes astiti. Okay. The sti becomes a longer one, titi. Okay. Nanyadastiti. Vadinaha stands alone without any sandhi related changes. We will look at the word to word meaning. Yam. Yam means it's a feminine word, which is a second vibhakti. It's as an object for anyone who's interested in the vibhakti. So which? Okay, that's the meaning of yam. Imam. Imam means this. So that's also feminine word which denotes this. Which this, so far, when we look at everything together, it will make sense. Pushpitam. This yam is also pushpitam. Pushpa means flower. Pushpitam means flowery one. Anything which is like a flower is pushpitam. Okay, as if it's blossoming, you can say. Okay, pushpitam. Vacham. Vacham means you can say word or speech. I use the word speech. Anything which you speak is vacham, but which comes out of the mouth. So this speech, which is very flowery, this speech, that's imam vacham, yam pushpita. So this speech which is flowery. Okay, that's it. Pravadanti. Pravadanti. Vadanti itself is to speak. Pravadanti means they speak everywhere. It's the speech itself spreading. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitah. Vipaschitah means one who sees very clearly. Avipasita means one who cannot see clearly, one who does not understand. So Sri Krishna is telling there are people who do not see you clearly, they speak in flowery language. Who are such people? Vedavata Rata. Vedavada Rata. So Veda is Vedas. Vada, you can say there are two ways you can see. I have not necessarily included the Vada means also to debate. It also can mean speak what has been spoken by the Vedas. Rata means who like, who attached, who always love to do that. Rati is something to be attached or love or devoted. Many meanings come for the Rati, but in this case, it is slightly negative tone because people who like to argue, you can say, people who like to argue, debate about Vedas or what is stated in the Vedas, that way also we can take. So those who do not clearly understand, they will engage in debates because there may be seemingly contradictory things in the Vedas. Why? So that means their understanding is not as clear. So such people who are capable of giving arguments will speak with flowery language. Vacham can be also language. So they speak in flowery terms, flowery language. Okay. What do they say? He's telling Partha, he's addressing Arjuna. Arjuna, na anyat asti iti vadina. Okay. Na anyat means nothing else, nothing other than this. Okay. Asti exists, nothing other than this exists. Thus, iti vadina, they argue. Okay, that what the rest, what is this? This and Pushpitam, we'll be looking at the next two verses. So it's just that he's telling there are people who do not understand it fully. Vipassita means clearly understand completely. Avipassita means who have not clearly understood the whole thing. So that means they have some knowledge, they have studied the Vedas, but their knowledge is not as complete. Such people talk in very flowery terms, very attractive. They attract a lot of people because its speech is very flowery. And they can give various arguments. And the arguments are that this is the thing, nothing else matters. Okay, that is their way they argue. Okay, so we will look at the next verse also. Just a summary of what we have read so far in the verse 42. Oh Arjuna, Krishna is addressing Krishna as Partha. Partha means Arjuna gets the name Partha because he's the son of Pritha. Kunti's original name is Pritha. She was given the name Kunti only because she was adopted by Kunti Bhoja. So her original name is Pritha. So Pritha's son is Partha. But Swami also says Partha is anyone who is born on this earth is Partha. Because Prithvi is also, Swami says, anyone who is born on this earth is also Partha. So it's an address to all of us. O Arjuna, those who do not understand, speak the speech which is a flowery one. Those who are enamored with the Vedas are those who argue that nothing else exists. See, when we say this nothing else exists means one who has studied the Vedas will understand there are many ways to look at interpreting the Vedas also, and all of them are equally valid for each one. So they will never exclude any argument. They will not say this is the only thing which is correct. So that also comes through in this verse. So anyone who has really studied the Vedas will never say another view is not acceptable because Vedas includes everything. That is Sanatana Dharma. So, that aspect of Sanatana Dharma is mentioned here. So we will go to the next verse, Saira. Kamat manah swargapara janma karma phala pradam क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगैश्वर्य गतिम प्रति कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फल प्रदाम क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगैश्वर्य गतिम प्रति कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फल प्रदा क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगैश्वर्य गतिम प्रति. Just touching upon some of the letters to pay attention to. Kamatmanaha, there are no aspirated consonants, so it should be reasonably simple. Swargapara is also the same. Janma, karma, phala. The phala is the second letter in the per varga, per class of consonants. The original pronunciation is pa, just like the other vargas, but many people pronounce it as fa also. That is some foreign influence, but it has become also very common. So many people say phala pradam, but I would stick to phala pradam. Okay, phala. So it's an aspirated consonant. Kriya vishesha, that sh, vishesha. So that sh, vishesha, the second letter is cerebral sh, so the tip of the tongue should point up. Bahulam. The next word, bho, bhogai. The bho is the fourth letter in the per class of consonants. So it has to be aspirated. So it's bhogai shwarya gatim prati. We will look at sandhi splits, not too many sandhis, but we will look at them. In some cases, the compound words are there, so I have separated with a hyphen each of the components of that compound word, so it's easy for us to look at. Kamatmanaha stands alone. Swargaparaha. So there's a visarga actually before the sandhi, but that visarga gets dropped because of sandhi. So swargaparaha, or the ha, becomes swargapara. Okay. The next word is a compound word, samasa, but so I've just separated it in individual words. There are no sandhi-related changes though. Janma, karma, phala, prada. Okay, so it's easy to read also. In the next line, kriya vishesha bahulam. Again, it's a compound word. I have just hyphenated each component of the word component within that. No sandhi related changes there. There can be internal sandhis also within the samasa. In this case, it is not there. The next one is bhogaishwarya gatim. Okay. That's also samasa. I have separated them. If you look at the bhoga aishwarya becomes bhoga aishwarya. Okay. And gatim. Bhoga aishwarya gatim prati. So as you can see, there are no, except one sandhi related change, everything else is staying the same. The only sandhi related change was this visarga getting dropped for swargapara. Now we look at the word-to-word meaning. So the first word is kamatmanaha. Kama atmanaha. Okay. So their inner self is kama. So in this case, inner self is nothing but the mind. Atman also can, manin means to think also, you can say. So those whose minds are filled with desires. Okay, kamatmanaha means those whose minds are filled with desires. Swargaparaha. Swarga means heaven. Paraha means they are traveling towards that. They want to go there. Their goal is to attain Swarga. All of us have this need to be comfortable, happy, enjoy everything that is good in this world, that is also Swargapada. So those whose minds are filled with desires and who want to have be in a heavenly atmosphere. There's a spiritual heavenly atmosphere, there's a worldly heavenly atmosphere. Because this all karma means related to world. So we want to be a heavenly atmosphere in the world. Okay, so Swargaparaha. The next word is Janma Karma Phala Prada. So that such people, what are the intent? What is their objective? Okay, these two kinds of people, Kamatmanaha, Swargaparaha. Actually, if you go back to the previous word, Avipaschitaha means who do have not understood fully. And they are all Vedavada. Okay, also they are interested in. So, what are they interested in? Janma Karma Palaprada. Janma means birth. Karma Phala means fruits of actions. Pradam, that which gives. So they are all interested in Janma, Karma Phala, Pradam. See, even when people get married, they will say for 7 lifetimes we should be married together. That means they have intended in 7 times we have to repeat this, at least. This is just common view, you know. And if they didn't attain something, they will say, in my next birth, I hope I get it. So people are desirous of better life. When we have a life, when we want something better, that's also desire for life. Janma, karma phala. So we also want to do good things, so we will get the output, which is good. So they are all intent on that subject. We want to do good. We want to do well. Okay, such thing is janma, karma, phala, prada. So what do they do? Kriya Vishesha Bahula. Kriya means all kinds of rituals, worships, actions in general also is Kriya. Vishesha, that means very special ones. Okay, we are always looking for something special sadhana. Okay, Kriya Vishesha Bahula means not one, many, many. We'll try everything out. So these are people who will say, is this a better way to do sadhana? You know, if I do it, it'll give you better results. So that also they are interested in. Then the next line. So Bhoga Aishwarya Gatim. Gatim in this case is a destination, end goal. Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga means very comfortable, you know, just have all enjoyable stuff. Okay. Aishwarya, they want all the wealth possible on earth. So these are 3 things are their objectives. Okay. Prati means that's a goal. They are always walking towards that goal, that destination. Who? Kamatmanaha Swargaparaha. Vedavada Rataha. Okay, so they will take even philosophy and teaching spiritually to support this. And they will say, this is the most highest thing. This is the only thing we should be bothered about. So that is what they talk. So they will talk about this in flowery way. Okay, so this is the second verse. I will just look at the summary and then we will read some discourse of Swami. Those whose minds are full of desires and those intent on attainment of heaven speak flowery words about that which grants birth, fruits of actions, of many special rituals, the journey towards the destination of enjoyment and wealth. Bhogaishwarya Gati. That's what all of us daily we are toiling towards that only. We have to go to work, maybe we should earn more, accumulate more things and enjoy them, you know. So this is general tendency of devotees. So we'll read some excerpt from Swami. Krishna answered, Partha, there's a say that knows no decline. Beyond all these heavens, there are many roads by which that state can be won. Unaware of these roads or the joy of that state, man is taking to others that are either crooked or comfortable. He does not know how to distinguish between the right road and the wrong. I may tell you that there are 4 roads which are now used by mankind. Karma atita, beyond karma, unaffected by karma. Nishkama karma without any desire for the fruit thereof. Karma unaffected by any craving for the result therefrom. Sakama karma with ambition to reap and enjoy its fruit. And karma bhrashta, karma that knows no restraint or control. So Swami has categorized, so Krishna has categorized everyone into these 4 categories. The karmatitas are the jivan muktas. All their karmas have been burnt up by the fire of jnana. Their impulses for action have been scorched by the wisdom they have gained. They have no further need for injunctions and prohibitions, vidhi and nishedha. They need no sadhana like dhanam, charity, dharma, virtuous living, tapas, austerity, etc. All that they do or feel or think will be divine, holy, virtuous, beneficial to mankind. The very earth they tread on is sacrosanct. Even every word they utter will be the word of God. Their breath need not take them on death to realms that are heavenly. They merge on the falling away of the bodily raiment without delay in Brahman. Such are the jivis who are described by me now as having Kaivalya Mukti, Brahma Prapti or Sadhyo Mukti. Next, the second group, the adepts at Nishkama Karma. These are the mumukshus, aspirants, alert on the path of liberation, who are intent on attaining it. They perform each act as a step in the realization of the Lord. So they can never do anything bad. They do not look forward to the result. They leave it to the Lord to give it or withhold it. They are not prompted by worldly motives or even the desire to gain heavenly pleasure. Their aim is just this, liberation from the bondage of the objective world. They win the grace of the Lord in proportion to the steadiness of their faith and practice. The third group, which believes in sakama karma, performs all acts through the desire for the fruit thereof. Since they have an eye on the successful earning of the fruit, they will engage themselves only in acts that are approved by the Shastras. So this is the category which the verses are talking about. They follow the Vedas, but they are interested, they are kamatmana. Okay. They will not do, yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, brother. The Vedas are giving the Shastra to fulfill the desires, right? So
Yes.
when the Vedas people know, they have to use it rightly on a right perspective. That's what it means.
So in this world also God has given so much, sister. Food is also given tasty food. But the thing is the taste or why the food also matters, discrimination.
So Vedas says everything, even we have
Yes.
to use things right. perspective. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's why Krishna had to come and explain. Okay, so they will not do any sinful or prohibited act. This is the third category we are talking about. They will equate each act with merit it will confer, the happiness it will ensure, the heaven it will win. Such men, when they depart from this world, will enter the lokas, supramundane worlds they have sought and worked for, and having stayed there as long as their merit entitles them, they have to return to earth. The fourth group is not guided by any rule or conduct, any rule of conduct. They have no norms, no discrimination between virtue and vice, right and wrong, proper and improper. They have no horror of hell, no conception of heaven, no dread of the devil, no reverence for God, no respect for the Shastras, no vision of Dharma. They are best pictured as beasts in human form. The majority of humans are members of this unfortunate group. They strive for momentary pleasure, short-lived happiness, temporary joy, and evanescent comfort. To call them apes with human physics will be a big mistake, for the ape only jumps from branch to branch or from tree to tree. It releases itself from one branch or one tree before landing on the another. Men are more like caterpillars, which move from leaf to leaf, fixing their foreparts on a new leaf before releasing their hind parts from the leaf on which they were resting till then. That is to say, man by his acts in this life decides on his next birth. Janma karma palaprada, in the verse. Where and how it will be even before leaving this world. The new place is ready for him. The four parts are already there. It's only after settling this that he relieves himself of the hold on this world. Men of this category move round in the wheel of birth and death. So Krishna is nicely categorizing and says, these are four kinds of people, Jivan Muktas, and this Nishkama Karmis, then Sakama Karmis, and Karma Brashtas. But these three verses which we read talk about the third category. They have studied the Vedas, but they're using it for their selfish ends, for worldly benefits, ignoring that which is that otherworldly. So that is the only thing, because it's like we going to the beach and getting stuck and not coming home. So the world has very interesting, and they are very good people. Swami says they do not do any harm. They do all the things which are good, but they have desires. That category only Swami is talking. So the reason why that is not important is told in the next verse. So we'll go into the next verse. So these three have to be read together, because then only it gives the wholesome picture. So we will read this verse now. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तयापहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. Look at some pronunciation aspects. Bhogai, so the bho is aspirated. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam, the rest of them are unaspirated consonants. Tayapahrita chetasam, no aspirated consonants. So it should be reasonably simple. Vyavasayatmika, same. Buddhi. So in the buddhi, The second letter is a compound letter, id and id. So there are two das coming. One is id, unaspirated. The second one is the, which is aspirated. So it's buddhi. The next word, samadhau, there also the dha is the same, the aspirated. So it has to be samadhau. Then na vidhiyate. Again, dhi is also aspirated, same dha. So those buddhi, samadhau, vidhi, all the dhas which we encounter, all those dhas have to be aspirated. Just pay attention. We look at the sandhis. And there are a couple of them. And the first one is a compound word, bhoga aishwarya prasaktana. Bhoga aishwarya prasaktana. Okay, so there are no sandhirli. The first one, there is no real change. Ga and I becomes gai. Okay, bhoga aishwarya prasaktana. The next word, there are two distinct words. One is taya is a distinct word. Apakrita chetasam is a compound word samasa, but I've just hyphenated the two individual components of that samasa, or compound word. Apakrita and chetasam. Taya and the ya plus a becomes ya again. The is sort of subsumed in the ya. Okay. Vyavasayatmika, no sandhi little changes. Buddhi same. Samadhav na vidhiyate, no other sandhi related changes in the verse. We look at the word to word meaning. Bhoga aishwarya prasaktana. Bhoga is enjoyment, aishwarya wealth, prasaktanam who are attached, who always want it, always seeking. So people, those who seek wealth and bhoga, enjoyment. So again, this word is referring to all the previous categories which we have already discussed. Taya, by that. So again, now we are going back to the vacham, tham, things, yam, the flower speech, etc. Okay. By that, those words, okay, apakrita. Apakrita means something is grabbed, something is stolen. Stolen without your knowledge. Oh, that's why I was the word rob. See, sometimes we take things that sort of krita. Apakrita means without knowing anyone taking it. Or forcibly taking also, you can say. So that apakrita, chetasa. Chetasa means their minds. The sense also, you can say. The sensibilities are also robbed. By what? By those very flowery words. Why it happened? Because we like the world. We like enjoyment. So we naturally gravitate and are impressed by such flowery speech. So such category Krishna is talking about. Though it may be Vedic, it may be aligned with the Shastras. But what happens is everyone is so focused on enjoying the world. So the mind, which has to be actually offered to the Lord, is already stolen by somebody. The world. Okay, these interesting, attractive words take away our minds. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. I think we have already looked at this word, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, someone who is very industrious, who is working very hard, like a farmer. Farmers are called Vyavasayis. So they make sure they're working very hard. They take the weeds out. They make sure the crop grows. They water. They till the land. They do everything. All good things they do. The buddhi is doing that actually. So that means what is good, what is bad, what has to be done. We work hard, do a lot of sadhana using the buddhi. Okay. Vyavasat buddhi. Samadhav means in samadhi. Samadhav means in samadhi. Na vidhyate. It does not settle. It can never, even if it's a vyavasayatmika buddhi, a very hard-working buddhi, doing all the right things, it will never attain samadhi. So the problem with this third category is that even though they do all the right things, because they're so focused that this is the most important thing, this is what we can experience in this world, the enjoyments. Because of that, their buddhi, even though it's very working very hard, it will never settle in samadhi. So this is why, we say we are trying to meditate, we can't meditate, type of situation for all of us. So maybe I should not include everyone, but it's a tough thing. Mind gets distracted by this or that. So this is what Krishna is telling. It's like, a child is given toys to play once in a while. But if playing the toys becomes everything else is neglected. So in this world, there are some enjoyable things in this world, but they should not completely consume us. They should not steal our mind, uh, take away our mind. That's what Krishna is talking about it. So I'll just summarize. For those who seek enjoyment and wealth, whose minds are robbed by that speech, the flowery speech, the resolute self-possessing, discriminating buddhi does not settle in samadhi. So we will never succeed in dhyanam or samadhi. So that's what Krishna is warning in this 3 verses, I would say. So we will read an excerpt from Swami. I think it's one of the Gita Vayans. Okay. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. There's nothing equal to jnana. And what is jnana? That which makes you cross the sea of flux, this samsara. Of course, it's of two kinds. The first is the objective knowledge, vishya jnana. The second is integral knowledge or abheda jnana. Vishya jnana is also knowledge of the worldly objects. What can we get from this world? Abheda jnana means that which does not differentiate anything. It's one. So abheda, there's no divisions, but that's ultimate knowledge. The first type is knowledge of the world. The second is the knowledge of the identity of Brahman and the individual Atma, which is called Abheda, undifferentiated or integral jnana. This jnana is not a function of the intellect or buddhi. It's a feature something beyond it. Something which witnesses the activities of even the buddhi. I will pause here. Those who are studying the Sathya Sai Vahini will know what this jnana is. This is Ishvara Prerita Jnana. Everything else is Yukta Yukti Vichara Jnana, using our intellect and analyzing. So this jnana is beyond buddhi also. So I thought I will just point out, because we are studying Ishvara Prerita Jnana on the other side, in the Sathya Sai Vahini. Continuing, it destroys the delusion about this constant flux, mistaken to be a reality. It removes fear from the heart of man. It reveals to him the Brahman, which he and all this is. So it is called the right jnana, or samyak jnana, or samipa jnana, or the nearest jnana. There are two paths by which man can approach this abheda jnana, the inner and the outer. The outer sadhana is nishkama karma, engaging in activity without attachment towards the result of those activities as dedicated to the Lord. The inner sadhana is dhyana, meditation, and samadhi, equipoise, devoid of ups and downs. In Vedantic terminology, this is named nididhyasana. Listen and meditate on what you have listened to. Those two steps are the basis of this nididhyasana or inner concentration. Without this, dhyana is impossible of achievement. This is the meaning of what is called Atma Samyama, the control of the senses, detachment from the outer sensory world, withdrawal of the mind from the outer world. This is the goal of all life, knowing the Paramatma, attaining liberation. There can be no second aim for man. So I think yesterday in the Ramakatha also we discussed this Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So Swami is again talking about listen, Shravana, meditate on what is Manana and Nididhyasana. Swami is trying to teach the same thing in multiple places to us. Okay, and through that process we get Atma Samyama, is what Swami is saying. Man is endowed with life not as a means of building bungalows, the acquisition of estates, the accumulation of wealth, the addition of progeny, the earning of titles, or ascent into higher rungs of social life. His greatness does not depend on this. The chief success of life lies in winning of permanent bliss, permanent escape from grief and agitation. Shrinvant Vishve Amritasya Putra is the call. Listen, O ye children of immortality all over the world. That is the invitation. The heritage of immortality must be recognized and experienced. It must be won back. The bonds of name and form must be got rid of. They are but bonds made of dream stuff. They are changeful and temporary. They are not genuine. Natural characteristics of Jiva. I think I should. So, real wisdom consists in recognizing that man is pure bliss, bliss that persists from the past into the present and the future. Escape from grief for a brief period of time, and the attainment of joy for a short time. These are not signs of real liberation. If you seek the steady, genuine, pure state of bliss, you must be attached to me, said Krishna. This is chapter 14 of Gita Vahini. We have studied this before also, but again we could revisit. So Krishna is telling we should never forget the ultimate goal by being distracted by the world, the enjoyments. Even though we are following the Shastras, we are doing all the right things. As long as we are stuck with the desire for the worldly enjoyments and the Aishwarya which they provide, we will never be able to attain that state of samadhi, of not being affected by anything in this world, and to have that permanent state of bliss. This is the process of Buddhi Yoga. So that is the Buddhi Yoga. You give up the desire for the fruits of action. So that way you only want the Lord, nothing else. And so these are first three verses which sort of pave the way for Krishna to elaborate on this. We will see it more in the next few verses. So that's all I have prepared for today. So I will stop here. If there are any questions on some things which we discussed, we can discuss. If not, we can close the session and meet again next week. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.